Hey friends. So I spoke a little bit yesterday about my experience over the past several days, but really especially the last couple of days, and there being a kind of intense, um, it's hard to know what to call it. I called it a dark night of the soul a few posts ago. And I'm kind of referring to that as a catch-all for what feel like to me are threshold moments. And these threshold moments, this is something I've experienced a number of times in my life. Most of us probably have gone through some kind of, big life transitions. And they often, almost invariably, they feel like they feel like it's that feeling of like something's got to give. Something can't keep going the way we're going. Usually there's a feeling of like something's wrong, or there's a big problem to solve, or some big event crashes into our life. And I haven't had any of those like major external upheavals, but I've definitely had plenty of internal upheaval, and I do have a physical injury in my wrist that I'm still kind of working with. That feels like more and more it feels like an event, even though it happened a while ago. It feels like an event that started a process for me. It started a process of reckoning with where I'm at and where I'm going. And so I had this day 2 days ago where it felt like nothing could go right. Everything I tried to do felt like I was stopped in my tracks. It was a litany of like spilling something in the car, and then trying to do some work on our house and having then there's no power in the house, and then we needed to deal with a sewage issue, and then we had to deal with a tree issue, and then the whole yard was dead because it hadn't been watered, and then the house was supposed to be clean, but it was filthy, and it was like one thing after the next. And furthermore, when I was attempting to take action, I would just get blocked. You ever had that feeling? Like it happens even when I'm driving around. Like you'll be trying to go somewhere, and for some reason, it'll just feel like it's impossible to get there. Like a light that you should get through, and like you should just be able to drive through the traffic light, for some reason backs up for 2 or 3 cycles, and you're just sitting there. I know enough to, when those things happen, when I find myself in that state, both internally and when the external is kind of mirroring that for me, I know enough to kind of go to just take a breath, and then kind of go like, what's happening here? What am I being given? Am I being given permission to be less fixated on whatever it is that I'm so desperately trying to solve, or whatever situation I think I'm trying to engage with or alleviate, or whatever goal I'm trying to accomplish? Am I being given permission to just breathe with that a little bit? Am I being redirected towards something else that's actually more important, but my sort of ego conscious mind won't let me see it because I'm too fixated on what's right in front of me? there's always a message in there. And what came through in just the most remarkable way. So that evening, this is not last night, it's the night before, I ended up in Santa Fe with my daughter. My wife came back to Albuquerque. And I am putting my daughter to sleep. And we read a book about careers. It was like a new book that had come in the mail from Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton gives kids a book a month for the first 5 years of their life. She's getting her last couple of books right now. We got this book. It's all about careers, different jobs you can do. Just like it's the ABCs. It follows the ABCs, and every letter gets a career name. And I at least wanted to know every single one. She wanted me to describe every single one, tell her what it was, tell her what they do. And then at the end, she asked me, she said, Papa, is there any job that where you help the earth be more healthy? And I was like, yes, actually, there are lots of those jobs. But it took my breath away that she asked that question, that she even had an awareness of keeping the earth healthy. And it felt like at the end of this day, where I'd been blocked at every turn, all of a sudden there was this beautiful, absolutely like priceless moment I'll remember for the rest of my life moment where my daughter is displaying, I don't know if she's had this awareness for she may have had an awareness of ecological health or planetary health for a while, but I'd never heard her speak like that. So it was the first time she was revealing it to me. And it kind of blew everything else away. That's all I remember from the day now. I mean, I can go back and retrace my memories, but now that moment frames the whole day. And it was just a reminder that that even, for me, in my particular kind of approach and what my mind does when it gets fixated, it's a particular kind of reminder of letting go and going with what is in front of me. Not in the sense of like throwing up my hands or taking my hands off the wheel and not taking responsibility for what's in front of me, but in the sense of, even if you're blocked at every turn, just keep going. Don't get frustrated. Just keep right on moving along. Even if nothing seems to be going right. Just breathe, relax, and let myself stay open. Because who knows what's coming? Who knows what is about to be communicated or is about to be given, about to be bestowed. I mean, that moment was so priceless, and it was like the this massive gift. And I think, one thing I did do, and which, I was just available for my daughter. That was the thing that, despite the kind of like stacking of frustrations that day, I knew I wanted to be present at bedtime, so I just kind of like breathed and settled, and then my daughter gives me this massive gift, and just more, it was like a perspective shift. It was like she was asking me, it's almost like she was asking me to reflect on my own way of engaging with the world. Obviously not consciously, but that's the effect it had. Is there a job? Is there a way to work for the earth to be more healthy? Is there a way I could engage with life that would allow life to be more healthy? It was just kind of a moment that blew me away. So I'm taking that with me into what is still a moment, a period of major transformation and major change. I feel like my daughter was also framing for me what that change is about. Is there a way that my next step can and maybe should be, maybe has to be, about making the earth more healthy, helping the earth to be more healthy? So yeah, that's what I got today. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.